was easy.
Bing! Hey guys, I'm Jasmine, and I'm going to tell you about the science behind law of attraction. So I have 5 points to make with you guys. Some of them you've heard of, and some of them you haven't. Now, this is really important because if you want to believe in law of attraction more and understand it more and be able to manifest better, it has to be logical to you. So I'm going to help you make it logical and help you understand that it is not a belief system. It is completely 100% proven in every corner of the universe, and there is no evidence to the contrary anywhere in the universe. The first scientific evidence that supports law of attraction and manifesting that I'm going to give you is called entrainment. Entrainment is a theory of physics that was discovered in 1665 by a Dutch scientist called Christian, Huygens, I don't know. By the way, if you would like some of this information written down for you, you can sign up to receive the worksheet, and that's in the link below. But anyways, in 1665, so this guy put a bunch of pendulum clocks on his wall, and the next day he noticed that all of the pendulums were swinging at the same pace. And he thought that was really interesting, so he did it again. He set all the pendulums up to go at different paces. And then he saw the next day that they had synced up again. And so this was the beginning of how he figured out this law of entrainment. Now, what is the law of entrainment? The law of entrainment is also known as the law of harmony, because any two vibrating bodies will entrain if exposed to each other long enough. Because naturally, in the universe, energy flows downstream. First of all, you gotta know that everything in the universe vibrates, therefore has a vibration. So subatomic and atomic particles all vibrate. And so they all have this signature vibration going on. Energy wants to flow downstream. Every particle in the universe that is energy wants to utilize the least amount of energy as possible. Water flows downstream, energy flows downstream. Everything in the universe naturally wants to take the path of least resistance. It takes less energy to vibe in sync with each other than it does to vibe out of sync with each other. So harmony takes less energy than opposition. Therefore, if something is in your vicinity, it's going to entrain to you and you're going to entrain to it. Common everyday examples of this are, for instance, you're watching me, so if I'm in a good high vibrating mood, you're going to start to feel a little bit better. All right, the second example is the double slit experiment. You might have heard of this. I'll sum it up really quick for you. When you look at particles individually, scientists have noticed that the observation of the particle will change the way that it moves, and it will affect the outcome of the particle's movement. This literally proves that your thoughts create matter, that your thoughts affect matter, affect the way that matter appears and moves. Also, this is also evidenced when scientists try to measure particles and the way that they're spinning or vibrating. I think like all particles have like a spin one way or another, and the particle will spin in accordance with however the scientist intends to measure it. So if a scientist can look at a particle and the particle literally changes the way that it moves and its course of action due to the observation of the observer, this literally proves that you create your own reality with your observation and with your assumptions of it and with your expectations. The third example is quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is really interesting because it's basically you can take one particle and you take two particles and you introduce them. And so they become entangled in a way. They become familiar, or I think maybe they entrain. I'm not a scientist, but I have the gist of it. So they entrain in some way. They become familiar with each other. And then what happens is you can separate the particles by great distances, and essentially, you tickle one particle, the other particle laughs. You do something to one particle, and the other particle reacts. So they have become entangled. And the thing that is interesting about quantum entanglement is that these reactions happen instantaneously. Like in the moment that you play with the one particle, the other particle is reacting exactly in that exact moment. This phenomenon proved that information can travel faster than the speed of light. In fact, information can travel instantaneously, and we know that because of quantum entanglement. So when you think a thought, the universe is on it immediately. Okay, the fourth example is Dr. Emoto's water experiment. Maybe you've heard of it before. He's a Japanese scientist, and this is a really simple experiment. He just wanted to like prove that our thoughts affect our reality. So you can do this at home if you want to prove it to yourself. But basically, your thoughts affect, your body, water, food. It affects everything around you. So one way that you can really see this is you take 3 jars, okay, 3 equal jars, you fill them all up with rice and water. So like halfway full of like rice, and like what I've seen is that people will fill it with water up to like the level of the rice, or like maybe above. So on one jar, you write something like love, or peace, whatever, love. On the second jar, you write hate, something like that. And on the third jar, nothing. This is the ignore jar. So put them in different places in your house so that you're not intermingling the energies. Put them in different places in your house, and every day to the love jar, you're going to say something lovely. Hello, you're beautiful. I love you so much. To the hate jar, you're going to say something like, you're disgusting, you're despicable, you gross me out, whatever, I hate you. And then to the ignore jar, you just ignore it completely. Do this for 30 days and you will see completely different results with the different jars. Usually the ignore jar is the worst jar, but I have also seen cases where the hate jar was the worst jar. But in all cases, the love jar is completely different from the 2 other jars. The jar of love will have sort of like a very nicely aged or fermented quality to it. It'll be like bubbly, kind of like champagne, a little bit, kind of yellow in nature. And if there's any mold, it's very minimal, and it's definitely not the same kind of mold that you get in the 2 other jars. In the ignore jar, you'll see a lot of black, disgusting mold. It's completely gross. And then in the hate jar, you'll see the same thing. Green, black, disgusting, horrible mold. That's one example of how your thoughts affect your reality, and how your thoughts really do matter. Your thoughts are measurable frequencies that go out like radio waves and affect everything in the universe. The 5th scientific evidence of law of attraction is psychology in itself. For example, Dr. Joe Dispenza, I think he's like a law of attraction or manifesting coach, but he really teaches a lot of mindset. I think he's a neuroscientist. He explains how when you use a certain part of your brain, or when you're thinking in a certain way, he will show you how neural pathways are created. And basically it looks like a neuron attaching and creating a pathway. So you're creating a pathway when you habitually practice a way of thinking or thought. And then you can also see how a neuro pathway already created will uncreate itself if you don't use it. So this is literally showing you, like in 3D in your brain, the way that your thinking creates, first of all, the way that your brain is constructed, and then, the way that you're thinking, the way that you're doing things, like your thoughts create pathways and uncreate pathways, and create potentials and uncreate potentials. This is another example. This is a book that I really, really like on law of attraction and manifesting. Like, it's more of like a mindset. It says Beyond Positive Thinking. It looks like a really stupid book, but it's amazing when you read it. And it's just so like matter of fact and like duh, it's psychology. It's called Beyond Positive Thinking by Dr. Robert Anthony. It's the psychology of like the success mindset, and it's all put in a very logical format. There's no fluff, no metaphysical voodoo. It's just like all totally logical, totally sensical. This is how it works. And when you read it, it's just bing. But yeah, there's a ton of evidences that are logical and factual that have everything to do with law of attraction, and they prove law of attraction and manifesting. So if you want to know more about the science behind law of attraction and manifesting, or if you want to know more about any of the 5 points that I made, I will have a worksheet on this video in my Facebook group. So the Facebook group is called Manifest a Specific Person Effortlessly. For every video, I'm creating a worksheet to go along with the video so that you can get the content that was already in my video. You can also get bonus content that wasn't in the video. So I'm gonna, like, in the worksheet, I'm gonna put links to all the information and everything that I mentioned so that you can access those materials and learn more about that on your own. Also, follow me on Instagram at Manifest a Specific Person. I'm going to make a deal with you guys. I'm going to create fabulous, awesome, amazing content, and you're going to like, subscribe, share, and comment. I love you guys. I am not new at this, but I am a brand new channel, so thank you so much for all of your support. For more content like this, I'll have my playlist up here where you can watch all of my videos, and I also have another playlist on changing beliefs. I'll put that down here. I love playing with you guys and sharing with you everything that I know about law of attraction, and I will see you in the next video.